What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Nelson's Crypto here. Today, I just want to talk a little bit about Bitcoin and why I'm bullish and why we should be accumulating over the next 12 to 16 months, and why between April and September of next year, when we see that halving, we should start to see a pump. So, first, let's go over the all time chart, Bitcoin, a little bit. If you look at the first halving, you'll see that about 12 months after it, we saw our all time high. And then about 12 months after that, we saw our low. And after that, about traded sideways and a little bit up until the second halving, which after that, you've seen it run up about 17 months after, we hit the all-time high. About 12 months after that all-time high, we saw our low again. Okay, so you realize that after each halving, we hit our highs, and then we hit our lows about 12 months after the all-time highs. The first high was about 12 months after the halving, and then the second high was about 17 months after the halving. So that's a little different. So our third halving is here, and our all-time high was about 18 months after. It's a little bit bigger than the last one. And then again, we're seeing our low 12 months after the high. So you pretty much always see your low about 12 months after the high. And at this point, you're seeing your highs about 17 to 18 months after the halving, if you're going off the last two halvings. I think you're seeing a little more drawn out peaks from the halvings, just because more people are realizing things, more people are seeing these things on the chart, things are getting bullish longer. So I do see after the next halving, probably see our peak sometime between 16 and 18 months after it, maybe 20 months, maybe 16 to 20 months after the next halving. Our next halving should be April or May of 2024. Now you see we're already 12 months off the last all-time high, and we've started to come up a little bit. Now I think we're pretty much just going to see sideways consolidation like we have in most past up until that bull run. So that's why I think the next 12 months are ideal. If you want to accumulate Bitcoin, now is the time to do it. I know a lot of people have fear and they're going to wait until the halving, and then you're going to get caught buying in here. Okay? And you don't want to do that. You want to buy in here. You want to buy in these accumulation phases right after the halving or right before. Or maybe even, look, 12 months after your all time highs is your lows historically. Look at the chart. You can't beat these. The history has repeated itself over and over. And it's best to go into stablecoins when you see these peaks 12 to 18 months after. Start switching some of it to stablecoins, and then you're going to want to wait until about 12 months after the high. And then you can start accumulating your Bitcoin again, and you're going to be in a better position for the next bull run. I do think we could see easily probably $100,000 to $200,000 the next bull run. This isn't financial advice, but if history repeats itself, things are looking good, guys. You can't you can't argue price action. Price action trumps all. A lot of guys don't look at the charts, but you gotta look at the charts. 90% of cryptos are scams. You gotta look at the chart, okay? The chart tells almost everything. Price action tells almost everything, okay? What people are thinking and what people are doing, and when we're hitting peaks and when we're hitting lows, okay? Now, here's my next thing. Back in 2017, BlackRock called Bitcoin a money laundering scam. Now here we are, 2023, and they're filing for a Bitcoin ETF in the US. Now this is huge. Why is this huge? BlackRock is the biggest asset manager in the United States. They handle over $8 trillion. That kind of speaks for itself, right, guys? When the largest asset managers in the United States are going for the Bitcoin ETF, that's huge. And not only is it BlackRock, but look at this, guys. Fidelity allegedly is planning to file for a Bitcoin ETF too. And this comes out days after the BlackRock one. So now it seems like they're all rushing to get their Bitcoin ETFs out there. That kind of tells me that maybe we're going to see some clarity in regulation. You know, you've got the XRP lawsuit, you've got things coming out, you got Gary Gensler ruining things, but I think good things will come of it, and I think there'll be clarity. You have major financial institutions, asset managers going for Bitcoin ETFs, guys. This is huge. This is really huge. And then we're going to look at the supply. So after the halving, if you guys don't know what a halving is, so it's an emissions schedule basically for Bitcoin. A miner is awarded so many Bitcoin when a block reward is mined. And that's being cut in half every time there's a halving. So the supply that's being mined is literally cut in half every time there's a halving. So it's making it more scarce and more scarce and more scarce. And you can see this the green line is the emission schedule, Bitcoin supply, right? So you can see how fast the Bitcoin supply goes up. And you can see actually the last halving, roughly in 2020, is really starting to flatten off a lot. And you can see it's just going to get more flat and more flat and more flat. And this is the opposite of what the Federal Reserve is doing, right? They're just printing money like crazy. They could care less. The supply is infinite. You know, it's stupid. But you got Bitcoin here. It's just going to get more scarce and more scarce. At this point, there is about 95% of the supply already in circulation. You've only got 5% left, guys. I mean, you know, it's just look at, you just have to look at the statistics and look at the chart and realize that it's just going to get more scarce and more money is going to come into the space. And if you combine those two things together, you know, you get good price action. Here's another way to go look at the Bitcoin halving. You know, you can see this is how much block rewards a miner got in 2019. He mined a block. Now in 2012, he only gets 25 Bitcoin. 2016, 12.5 Bitcoin. 2020, 6.25 Bitcoin. In 2024, it's going to go down to 3.125 Bitcoin. So that means every miner that mines one Bitcoin is getting half the amount he used to. It's just going to get more scarce and more scarce, and the supply is basically just going to flatline. While all these huge asset managers are just going to be falling in line to invest their money. And you just have to look at the chart, guys. I'm telling you. Just look at the chart. Don't listen to the Fed. Don't be scared. Bitcoin is here to stay. And it is one of the biggest things there is. I think one day it could overtake gold. Now, that's just speculation. But it's amazing. So, guys, I hope you're doing your own research and figure out what you want to do. But there's a lot of evidence here that says that Bitcoin is going to go up huge after this next halving. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Have a good night.